Okay, hello guys. Today we will learn how to use for loop in Matlab. So here let's open a new script. Now, we use for loop to repeat statements a specific number of times. As example, how can I print hello world 10 times in Matlab? Now here in this script, let's say I want to display hello world 10 times. Now, when I run the code, let's say it as 4. Okay, 4. When I run it, MATLAB will display it one time. So hello world. So if I wanna display it 10 times, what I will do is I will write here for I equals. I is the number of the repetition. So I equals 10 times. I want to repeat this statements 10 times. So I will write it like this. I equals 10. When I write I equals 10, MATLAB will give me an error or will display it one more time, like one time only. So for I equals 10, display hello world. In the statement, run the code, MATLAB will display it one time, hello world. Because what do you mean by 10? Now, you should know, so as an engineer or as a high school student, you should know that each operation, any operation in the world has an initial value. If it's a summation, then it's 1, and then it's 0, and if it's a multiplication, then the initial value is 1. Now, from I equals 10, MATLAB doesn't understand anything because you have to define an initial value. I want to start from 1 to 10. So display hello world 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5 time, 7 time, 9 time, or whatever you want. Now let's say I want to display it 2 times. Just run the code. Yeah, MATLAB will print it 2 times like this. If it's 9 times, I will say like this. 9, and MATLAB will print it 9 times like this. So like this. And if I want to print it infinity for infinity, so it will go for infinity. MATLAB will never stop. I just say from 1 to infinity, display hello world. Click enter, look. MATLAB is keeping repeating it. Like repeating it. It will never stop. Now just take a look here. Yeah, just click on stop here. When you click the code, when you run the code, there is stop. Stop the code. Yeah, MATLAB's operation terminated by user during 4. So I stop the operation. Now, let's say that I want to find the summation of the numbers from 1 to 4 as example. Now, as you all know, here in the command window as example, we can say x equals 10. At the same time, we can say that x equals 2 times 5. At the same time, we can say x equals the summation of the matrix from 1 to 4. Or we can use for loop to display 10. So how can I ask MATLAB to print hello world using for loop? Now let's learn it together. So just clear it. Now I want to display 10 one time. It doesn't matter. One time. So I will say that, as we mentioned before, that each operation, every operation in this planet has an initial value. If this operation is a multiplication, then it will be 1. I mean, the initial value will be 1. If it's summation, then the initial value will be 0. So x equals 10, then the initial value of the summation operation, just like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, it's a summation. Okay, it's a summation operation. So just say 0. So the initial value is 0. For I, okay, for I equals, I want the matrix from 1 to 4. X, which is 10 that I will get, equals the initial value plus I. Just close the operation and say end. When you run the code, Matlab will never display anything because you didn't ask Matlab to display it. You just wrote the code. So after defining for loop, you can say display x, and Matlab will display it. So x equals 10. We can say it like this, x equals, and just say plus here, and Matlab will print it. So run, yeah, x equals 10. Now, what happened here? What's going on? So let me explain it in a different way. Here, actually, what will happen is, now, in Matlab, as we define that x initial, which the initial value of x equals 0. So x that we will get, which is this, equals x initial plus I. Now, I is about the matrix from 1 to 4. So I equals 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is I, okay? So what will happen is that Matlab will say like this, x, which is 10, equals, now x final, which will be 10 at the end of this operation. So x final equals x initial that we defined as 0 plus the first value of I, which is 1. So it will be plus 1 equals 1. Now, at the same time, Matlab will repeat it until it's done, until it's 4. So it will be like this. X that I will get equals the initial value, that is 1, that became 1 after this operation, plus the second value, which is 2. So it'll be like this, equals 3, okay? So it's like this. Now, so the initial value is 3. Now, we've got the initial value as 3. So x final equals x initial, which became 3, plus 3, which is the third value of I. So 3 now equals 6. Now, the initial value became 6. So x final that I will get equals 6, which is the initial value, plus 4, which is the fourth value of R, equals 10. Now, this matrix is done. There is no any other element, so Matlab will stop here. So Matlab will say, yeah, that. So here, Matlab will say, yeah, x equals 10. You're done. Finished. This is our final value. So when you say display x, Matlab will do all of this operation, all of this in for loop. Inside of this for loop, this operation will be done. It's like this. So I will mention it one more time. You should know that each operation in this planet has an initial value. If it's summation like this, then the initial value is 0. Why? Because 0 has no affectation on this operation. When you say 0 plus 1, it's 1. But when you say 1 plus 1, then it's 2. Then there is a mistake. If it's multiplication, when you say 1 multiplied by 1, it's okay. So 1 multiplied any number is the number, so it doesn't matter. This is why I'm saying summation, the initial value of it is 0, and multiplication, the initial value of it is 10, is 1. So this is a simple code how to define for loop in Matlab and how to understand it and how to know that each operation on this planet has an initial value. This is how for loop work. I will upload another video explaining another examples to explain for loop. It's very important loop. It's a very important function that you're all supposed to know and you're all supposed to learn it. Okay, see you guys in the next video.